I've always been fascinated by the IBM story and IBM machines. Now, recently I went on a trip to America, and my God, we came across an absolutely amazing and really nice collector. He let me see all of his private collection, and some of this stuff is just so rare, so I'm going to share it with you all.
This was the experiment. IBM built these as an experiment because, hey, are these personal computers a fad, or are they going to be a real thing? We should have an offering. And the way you tell a revision A is that the first bank of chips is soldered right there. Mm-hmm. It's a 16 kilobytes to 64 kilobytes. And those are your biggest signs that it's a Rev A. And revision A's are crazy rare. I mean, they made like a couple, 300,000 of them. They did not make a lot of them. They made millions of the XTs and the ATs, but they, made, unknown. You can research it on the internet, the rough numbers that they've got. But like this board didn't work when I first got it, and the price was right, and I didn't care. But I wanted to have it. It was in a part lot deal. So for a maker faire, I just put it on a piece of scrap wood. And for the 35th year anniversary of the IBM PC, I put out a complete revision A PC with the green screen monitor. And our buddy Mark Little, who you'll meet at the AHCS meeting, he brought out a really nice Texas Instruments display because it was also the 35th anniversary of TI.
Yeah.
So we all did that in 2016, 35th anniversary. But I put this out on the table, and IBMers would come by and look at it like, is that a Rev A? It's a Rev A. They're like, you have that out here? Like, yeah. Like, really? Like, this board, like, where little children can pick it up and look at it. I'm like, yeah. Why not? I'm like, it doesn't work. It turned out with this guy, all we had to do to get it running was remove that one bad tantalum capacitor, and it fired right up.
Awesome. So that's working now.
Yeah. Well, I should replace the tantalum capacitor. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But the fact that it works is just, that it's fixable is a nice thing. But the original board had, 5 expansion slots on it. One would have your floppy controller, one would have a video card, and then if you had a, parallel port interface and a serial interface, you were pretty much done. So with 5 slots and a minimum of 2 and often 4 already being taken up, you didn't really have expandability. You had 1 expansion slot. This is also an IBM Rev A motherboard, and it's got issues. We got rid of the bad we got rid of the bad tantalums and replaced them, but there are issues. But I need these because I've got an expansion chassis that needs tantalum capacitors. And, yes, that chip says bad. So if we compare the number on that guy to the number on this guy, that's the new one. But that's like the revision 3. The revision 3 would talk to other BIOS peripherals. So you could have a hard drive or an EGA or a VGA card. They needed their own BIOSes because they had their own memory controllers. The revision 2 and revision 1s do not have BIOS support. And because everyone bought a hard drive for their IBM PC, they threw away the revision 1 and revision 2 BIOS. All of your 256K IBMs came with a revision 3 BIOS, but your revision A's would have come with a 1 or a 2. So if there are only a couple 100,000 revision 1s out or revision A's out there, and everyone threw away their revision 1 and revision 2 BIOSes, how rare do you think those BIOS chips are?
How it would originally look. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other way you tell a revision A is that there's that cutout on the bottom.
And of course they use the little wooden feet as well. That's always a
cork.
Yeah, cork. Yeah.
Someone's reproducing these cork footies now
that's
for
good.
enthusiasts. This is what we're going to take over to the warehouse, along with those tantalum capacitors. But this was the way to get a hard drive in a PC.
Okay.
And again, throw away that BIOS. These are all MFM hard drives. These are all extremely collectible. Go look on eBay and see what these cost. And there's more than a dozen in this box.
So what capacity would these guys have?
That's a 20 meg, that's a 40 meg. I don't know how many megs this guy is.
They're giant, aren't they, compared to like IBM or SCSI?
Yeah, well, SCSI drives were all this size originally.
I guess it's the custom shell on some of them as well.
No, it's the size of the platter.
The
5.25-inch platter, and all drives were full height originally like this, or like this. Your original hard disk drives were all that size, that height. Have your MFM, power, data. This is the IBM EGA, very sought after. Enhanced color display, 16 colors, digital signaling, has an on-off switch. I had this one professionally serviced the moment I got it.
It looks in beautiful condition.
And then you go to the back and you've got your power cord, vertical 9-pin input.
Okay.
So this is the 5154. This was the probably fourth offering of a monitor that IBM had. Every knees.
Very clean. And you've even got the US Air Force.
Yep, the asset tag.
Awesome.
Yeah, this one was purchased. This was surplus down at the air base about an hour and 2 hours south of here. This is one of those little things that a lot of collectors of IBM stuff are not aware of. But your IBM cord actually had, all your old IBM PC stuff has a part number starting with 68X. That's a power cord with an IBM part number on it. That's your correct power cord for an IBM PC or PCAT.
And
And
so
the other
actually had custom. Yeah. And it's got a pass-through on it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. But this is the personal computer display. Notice there's no power switch. 2-color only. Slightly smaller, a lot lighter. And when we move to the back, you'll see that there is a power pass-through and your 9-pin. And you have to have signal going to this to power it up. Now you see that female plug. If we come around here and we look at our IBM, this is why all those IBMs have that female IEC cable plug there, so that this plugs in there. In a museum quality IBM PC, that one does not.
So this is a boxed pretty much.
Oh, hey! More importantly, okay, here's an important note about expansion chassis. I didn't know I had this. Okay, first off, trying to find one with the true IBM connector cable, you can buy this Amphenol 68-pin cable because there were SCSI tape backup units that used them. But an IBM molded cable that still has the little tag on it, not so easy to find. The hardest part of any IBM expansion chassis is the extender card. These are far rarer than the chassis because the people that scrapped these and sold them didn't know that this came with that. So 90%, probably 90% of your expansion chassis owners can't find out if their expansion chassis even works because they don't have the extender card to plug into their PC to communicate with it. The receiver card, and then it's got a hard disk controller card and a power supply. And then this is the hole I/O planar board. It's basically a back plane, and you use the extender and receiver cards to connect them. Now, we were talking about the quantity of these. Here are 3 more receiver cards loose, all by themselves. There's another IBM branded cable, still with the fabric tag on it. And here are 4 I/O planar boards.
Wow.
So that's why it was not a big deal for me to go buy that expansion chassis that was just empty with no power supply and no tag, because I have the receiver card and 4 I/O planar boards. So I can make 4 more of them. Well, I can make 3 more, but I would need to find to make 4, I need to find a 4th receiver card.
That's awesome. So they will be able to connect to the machines and not just be dumb units, and you could make like 3 of them. Yeah.
If I had extender cards.
Yeah.
But that's why a friend of mine who was like, wow, that's pretty cool, I handed him an IBM PC and an expansion chassis and a cable and an extender card, put it all together, showed him to him booting, and said, design a receiver card.